Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
In any class, a teacher must have an inclusive approach towards the heterogeneity of the students present there. And we as teachers must realize that every class may consist of slow learners and advanced learners. There are many ways of differentiating the slow learner from the advanced learner in a classroom environment, but the easiest way is that of observation. The teacher should be observant after determining their teaching goals and the learning outcomes of their students. They should select classroom assessment techniques called CATS, C-A-T-S, to distinguish between the slow and advanced learner. The first one is the 1-minute summary highlight. The second one is the 1-sentence summary. The third one is the supervision of paraphrasing content. So these 2 or 3 CATs can be done to determine whether your students are slow or advanced. Let us see what is a 1-minute summary highlight. The students should be made to think for 1 minute and to write an answer to the question, what was the most important thing you learned today? And what questions remain unanswered in your mind at the conclusion of this class? So this will lead to a kind of an awareness. Also, a student can jot down 3 summary points of the content taught in class and then asked to answer the question, what was the most confusing point in the lesson today and why? A single sentence summary can be done when a student is made to write for about 2 or 3 minutes at the end of a class and answer a question which may be, who did what to whom, when, where, how and why in the text. This asks the students to summarize a large amount of information from a lecture or activity, and this can be used to create further analysis. When we paraphrase content and we supervise the paraphrasing of content, we must see that the students can paraphrase the concept in about 20 seconds for the class, so that the teacher can judge the extent to which they have grasped the core concept. There are many other assessment techniques in the classroom, and most of these may entail prior knowledge of the course content, assumptions students might have about the subject chosen, and how we can understand the students' attitudes and abilities to connect relational ideas, associated concepts, or even chronological events. These classroom assessment techniques can play a very vital and significant role in determining the quality of a learner in a diverse classroom. So teachers, be careful, be observant, and try incorporating several such techniques in the course of a semester to see exactly what is the constitution of your class qualitatively. This will give you a fair idea on how to engage with language teaching with the students of differentiating intelligences, differential abilities. Now let us come to English language teaching strategies for the slow learner. Now the student whom we commonly talk about as a slow learner is a below average learner in terms of speed, pace and time span. They have deficiencies in skills, grasping concepts, expressing ideas. Their work is usually haphazard and untidy. So they lack a lot of coherence, they lack a lot of attention. These students need special instructional design, corrective or remedial instruction, frequent feedback, and most importantly, a range of versatile and flexible teaching conditions so that learning can be achieved. Now, slow learners can be taught in one of these possible instructional arrangements. Either number one, a class composed of average students in which up to 20% may be slow learners, or a class specially designed for slow learners. Now, since we don't have any such special classes, we have a heterogeneous mix in our classrooms. There must essentially be a variation in the teaching methods, whether it's direct teaching or indirect teaching. The classroom climate must also change from being competitive to being cooperative. And the instructional materials should be games, simulations, films in addition to the textbooks. Slow learners require short and simple methods of instruction based on concrete experiences. So keep your verbal instruction limited. Use pictures, models, charts, films, audiovisual aids to keep their attention riveted. For example, you can also have a project to impart education. Give the slow learner comfort, empathy, love. Create a successful classroom with patience. Tell them about direct experiences. Give them concrete examples of language use. Give them context. Give them adaptability to real life. And this will specifically address their learning needs. Now, how do we create lessons for varied learning? If the students have a variety of interests, needs, and experiences, and you as a teacher will address all this, then you will enhance the short attention span of slow learner. For example, oral or written biographies, simple lists, probably an elaboration of hobbies, jobs, vacation trips, daily experiences can provide the structure for lesson plans and specific writing achievements. What we need in an inclusive classroom is a dynamic instructional technique. Shift first from lecture to discussion to classroom assignment to once again another process, and thus the slow learners will stay engaged because of this constant shifting. This variety in instructional technique offers them the opportunity to see the same content presented in myriad ways. This increases opportunities to accommodate the different learning styles that may exist among different slow learners, and each one can learn at their own pace. Another way of teaching slow learners is by customizing the teaching learning materials, because they will always respond favorably to small segments of learning reinforced. So instruction must be repetitive and interactive. Instruction must address the obstacle. And in writing, this is very easy because it makes it a form of generation of practice. Slow learners always learn better when they can see and hear. So integrating technology, integrating culture, integrating entertainment into the instruction makes it more concrete and visual and makes them achieve better comprehension of all the aspects of language writing. The teacher must necessarily amend and simplify textbook and workbook assignments because these are written for the average student. So these might be a little too difficult for the slow learner to grasp and reproduce. For example, summaries, stylistic analyses. So in case this assignment or this assessment can be partially simplified or amended, addressing the learning modalities of slow learners, it just might work wonders. When we talk about the acquisition of learning skills, we must reinforce learning skills by teaching them note-taking, outlining, listening, and these can be imparted to them if we engage them actively in the teaching learning process through concrete visual stimuli. So for the slow learner, keep it short and simple. Keep it varied, keep it flexible, keep it partially amendable, keep it encouraging, keep it motivating, and above all, keep it unthreatening. Now, when we come to the advanced learner, we must understand that a teacher can always recognize an advanced learner through academic performance and test scores. Yet, all high scorers are not advanced learners, because sometimes advanced learners lag behind since they are either bored, since they are lonely, or since they feel left out with the rhythm of the rest of the class. So to enhance the understanding of teachers of the advanced students in the classroom, one must observe their thinking, learning, and behavior patterns in terms of their creativity, their intellect, and the sensibility they bring to their learning approaches. Instructional efficacy can be done by implementing strategies to address the language writing needs of an advanced student. There are many ways of doing this. One of this is the choice of instructional strategy. Advanced students usually respond by getting more choice in the materials they use, the assignments they are given, the projects they want to complete, because they thrive on the availability of alternatives, and this allows them to delve deeper into a subject. Advanced students can always write a book report on a more difficult book than their peers. Advanced students can be encouraged to move from factual reporting to conceptual analysis. They can always learn to connect, relate, and associate items in writing, rather than just stating facts. So instead of asking for facts, push them to make connections, push them to make analyses. In essays, make them express their learning through other forms, anecdotes, collages, podcasts, etc. So English language writing will thus become both critical and creative. Another way of addressing advanced learners is applying technology in the classroom to create an interface between academics and the real world. The flexibility of the internet provides rich and varied learning options for advanced students. We have smartboards, blogs, emails, iPods, software programs, and even internet searches are among the many means that can enhance the learning experience in the classroom. Technology provides the students with an access to an extraordinary range of resources and learning opportunities that are both exciting and immediate, holistic and ubiquitous. Technology integrates education with life. It connects people with each other and thereby empowers communities. Shared networking is happening globally. Now we come to accelerated learning. Accelerated learning should always be a part of your instructional design for an advanced student, and it must address a range of choices, from assigning the most difficult texts or research questions or report writing to formatting and coordinating a cluster group of high ability students. Advanced learners often acquire new concepts and knowledge very quickly. Their quick pace of learning can be accommodated by providing the advanced students with more challenging and engaging activities. Strategies such as compacting, independent study, creative thinking abilities, and other visual activities can enable high-grade students to learn at an appropriate pace suitable for them. Finally, we come to creative and innovative teaching, what we call out-of-the-box instructional strategies imparted to advanced learners so that they may process new concepts and information. They should be encouraged to explore nuances as against set patterns. Create creative and imaginative work. Envision new initiatives and endeavors. And of course, improve errors, refine visions, and elaborate ideas in writing. Advanced students must be provided with opportunities to set their own personal learning goal. This can be done by determining their prior knowledge and their pace in acquiring it. Drill and practice assignments that can be cumbersome and ennui laden should be completely avoided for the advanced students. What should be favored is an engaging process that includes their interests and challenges their thinking. They should be given independent learning projects. They should be encouraged to make self-assessment, because these dynamic aspects of the teaching learning progress will encourage deeper research. Independent learning options often include some skills such as completing an assignment without periodic supervision, comprehending and speedily summarizing the key ideas of a passage, researching a variety of sources to find information for a project, taking notes and recording sound or visual footage to aid recall, and of course becoming more self-aware as a learner and thus becoming more able to build upon personal strengths and aptitudes. So when we help advanced students reflect on their learning, this is actually an effective self-assessment rubric. A summary of their key takeaways from a lesson may chart the course of their own progress and help them to maintain a pace in the learning. They will gain a greater awareness of the entire learning process. And there are 3 ways of doing this. They can do it by making criteria lists for projects, stating theme, style, sources, and outcomes. They can make anecdotal records about learning experiences in the classroom, stating how they felt, what they learned, and what they regard as a major takeaway, the problems they faced, the solutions they achieved, and the main areas of difficulty, if any. And finally, by doing self-evaluation, by establishing criteria and methods for reflecting on their experiences and assessing their progress, by exploring areas of excellence and mediocrity, achievement and failure, and if at all they wish to incorporate change into the work done, if ever given a chance to begin again or to revise it.